Hi, I'm Debra Wenger. I'm glad you tuned in to listen to me for a few minutes today because this is extremely important information I want to share. I want to tell you about the power of self-motivation through faith, through positive thinking, and through trigger dopamine release. Now, this is a new revelation, at least to me. I keep expanding on the topic of dopamine because, I'm a counselor and I'm a writer, and I try to positively motivate myself every day to accomplish what I feel I'm meant to do. With God's help, nothing's impossible. But you have to think right. Because when you are worried, when you are anxious, adrenaline is made. Adrenaline prepares you to run or fight. Adrenaline is made just from negative thinking. That's why you can wake up in the middle of a night and have a bad dream and your heart's pounding and your hands are sweating and it's hard to go back to sleep because it is so real. Because your body cannot tell the difference between real or imaginary. So just the thought of danger starts the adrenaline pumping, even if it's just a dream. Well, dopamine's the same way. Dopamine is the learning reward chemical. God put that in our brain to keep us motivated and to have long-term determination to reach our goals. And that could literally be anything. Because dopamine is only made when something is better than expected. And that's why we go back to the same person. That's why we think we're in love with somebody, because something they're doing is better than expected or better than we've had. That's why people go back to bad habits, because they like the way they feel on it better than not on it. It's why you go back and do good habits, whether it's healthy eating or exercise or positive thinking or meditation or swimming or traveling or laughing. Whatever you find that works for you, your brain records the memory of dopamine release. But even better yet, the story even gets better. We're made in God's image, and God sees the beginning from the end. And He knew the only way we would have the determination to make it all the way to heaven and accomplish what we're meant to do here on the earth is through motivation, self-motivation. And He allows our brain to release dopamine just from the belief or the thought that something better than expected is going to happen to us. Think about it. Just the thought that something better than expected is going to happen to us releases dopamine. Dopamine scientifically is released even at the trigger point. When just the thought enters your mind, I can do this. This is going to work. I believe God's help and much effort, I'm going to get this done. Just the positive thought, I can get through this. I will recover. I'll get better. I can save my home. I can help my children. I can pursue a new hobby. I can go back to school. I can get a better job. I can be efficient in whatever I'm trying to do. Just the thought of that something's going to turn out better than expected motivates you because it releases dopamine. Dopamine is the learning reward chemical. So either those negative, fearful thoughts, I can't do this, it'll never work, it's either going to start releasing adrenaline, or those positive, God's helping me, I can do this, I can get it done. Those positive thoughts are going to release dopamine as well. And then that dopamine motivates you to keep pursuing your long-term goals, whatever that may be. Even animals have that ability. I remember my old dog I used to have, I would come in the house and he'd start doing all his tricks for me. I didn't ask him to do his tricks, but his mind remembered the dopamine release of the rewards he got from doing all those tricks. So all on his own, he started doing those tricks. But that's what we call operant condition, because if a week goes by and he did all his tricks voluntarily and he didn't get any reward, well, dopamine's not being made, and the dog's going to eventually say, this ain't worth it, I'm going to give up. But with human beings, we have the ability for long-term determination to pursue what we feel we need to do. And that is because of dopamine release. So if you can just remember, dopamine is released at the trigger point, just when you start to believe that something good is going to happen, which explains the excitement that you feel before the wedding happens, or before that surprise birthday party's taking place, or that excitement you feel even before you get on that vacation, or that the confidence you feel before that new job interview, because you believe something good's gonna happen better than expected, and that releases dopamine in your brain, and then serotonin is released, which makes you feel satisfied and calm and content. Just like when you do something good for somebody better than expected, you're making dopamine in their brain. Your brain rewards you with serotonin, because God is love and we're made in His image, and we're made to find pleasure in being good. Unfortunately, the adrenaline spreads like a fire as well. You know, it's just a sad thing. Negative will cause negative, but positive, one person can make a difference. One person can encourage the next one to do the same thing. So please remember the power of faith. If you pray and you know God's listening to you and He's going to help you, that's why faith is the evidence of things not seen. If you believe somehow something's going to turn out better than expected and you can do this, positive thinking, dopamine is released. So remember, that's just good news. Because if you want to be happy and never have a bunch of bad habits, just be motivated. Just be positive. Just keep being good. Keep helping people. Keep believing. Keep praying. And your brain will release all the dopamine and serotonin you need to be excited and happy and motivated and get you to where you think you need to be. Because remember, a visionary sees what can be. Most people only see what is.